What more do we know at this stage?
Yes, well, it seems this plane has crashed. There's a major search and rescue operation ongoing in the Java Sea, and it seems they've located the scene of the crash. The disaster agency in Indonesia says they've been finding pieces of wreckage. Lion Air flight JT610 was a Boeing jet. It took off from Jakarta on Monday morning, about 6:20 local time, heading for Pangkal Pinang, which is the main city on the island of Bangka. It's just a few hundred kilometers north of Java, and this was a standard commuter flight, basically. 189 people on board, 181 passengers and 8 crew. Most of those on board were adults, but there were some children. The information we're getting from the transport authorities, from search and rescue, and from the flight tracking service Flight Radar 24 suggests that the plane climbed to a height of about 1,500 meters before it vanished from the radar just 13 minutes after takeoff, about 15 kilometers north of the coastline, we think. Navigation authorities say the plane had requested to return to base just before losing contact, but then it's thought no distress signal was given. There is preliminary data showing that the flight perhaps lost a bit of height before regaining height and then falling into the sea. It's crashed into water some 30 or 40 meters deep. Search and rescue vessels are on the scene. There's a helicopter as well. They've been finding items like phones and life vests in the water, and the authorities say now that divers are trying to dive down to the wreck.
And any idea of what caused it yet?
Well, it's very early, of course. The Safety Transport Committee says the cause isn't known, and of course often in these cases there are several factors. We'll have to wait, of course, till the recovery of the black boxes and other data recorders. The weather conditions are said to be okay. The air tracking service says that the plane in question was a Boeing 737 MAX 8. Now, that's a very new plane. The first were only introduced into service last year. Lion Air has only had this plane since August. They say that it was airworthy. Boeing are monitoring the situation. As far as Indonesia and Lion Air's safety record generally, well, it has been patchy in the past. Lion Air's a privately owned budget airline, about 20 years old. It's had one fatal accident in 2004 when a plane crash landed and 25 passengers were killed. They've had several other jets involved in crashes, and there was a crash landing off Bali 5 years ago when everyone survived. Since then, its record has been improving, and it was removed from the EU's air safety blacklist 2 years ago, and Indonesia itself, including Lion Air, had their safety ranking upgraded just this year. So it's improving, but it has had a pretty patchy record in the past.